So, a little bit about myself. My name is William. They call me the Big Sarge Hansen. Did 22 years in the military. I did 10 years in the United States Marine Corps. I did 12 years in the National Guard. I did several Middle East deployments. Spent some time in Norway. And I was a school teacher, and I was a high school coach. Coached everything from football, wrestling, a little bit of basketball, a lot of track and field, and just have been enjoying the new aspects of life lately. I'm on my second marriage. My first wife, she passed away from cancer during my last deployment. Well, we found out that she had cancer during my last deployment. Spent several years with her at that. I have six daughters, ages 35 through 17, and got a real cute tip for you. If the VA ever tells you that because of your injuries, you can't have kids, never believe them, because I also have a bouncing 5-year-old boy who is Mr. Energy. So I'm coming close to being 60 this year with a 5-year-old.
Kudos to you. That's a lot of estrogen in the house, so I believe the one boy is kind of
Well,
needed to balance.
Well, the girls are all out and about. 3 have graduated from college. 2 are in college right now, and one's going away to college. And so that's a good thing. They're all off doing what they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing that I feel really happy about is they're all really good people. They're good humans. They believe in helping people. They take care of each other, and that's really important to me. And with the stress that they've gone through in their lives, you would think that it opens the door for them to do a lot of crazy things, and yet they have pretty much led it together and kept it together and strive forward to be good people, to be good family members, to be good with they all love on their little brother. You know, and so it's a wonderful blessing that I have in my life.
It's a rare quality for some kids to actually grow up and be that respectful and be in a happy situation. Most of the times when they're from a deployment or a military family, you hear about the rebellious times or the other negative aspects that kids can get into.
Well, that's not saying that they didn't have their wild times, or that they didn't have their times where they were mad at dad, or they're mad at their mom, or they're mad at God, or things along that line. But they've done good. I mean, they've kept that center, and it's a point of pride for me that I feel like as their father, I've done a lot to make sure that no matter what, I've tried to keep them centered. I've tried to show them that I love them, that I show them, give them their respect, and I teach them about dignity. I teach them how to be a good human being, and that was because I was raised by a great family. I was raised by my family comes from. We have a legacy, and I think you've talked about this with other vets on your program. So ever since my families came here from Europe in the time of the Civil War, a Hansen has fought for this country. We did the Civil War, we did the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. I was in Desert Storm. I was in Iraq. I have a niece that literally 3 days ago just came back from Kuwait.
Oh, wow.
So someone from our family has served this country because this is a country that we believe in. We believe in what the preamble says, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, ensure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And not enough people remember that.
Kudos to you. I wish more cops would actually remember that.
You know, I would love to say that it was just something that I learned from a book, but honestly, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes. Yes, and the bill on the front, yes.
I'm just a bill, just only a bill. But even with that, that's not saying that we're perfect. Mm-hmm. That's not saying we as a country are perfect. You know, but that line in there, a more perfect union, that is saying, hey, we know that not everything is perfect right now. But you know what? We want to move to become better as we grow older as a country. And you look at our history, there are 1,001 mistakes that we've made. But you know what? As a country, we're someone who has actually come forward and said, you know, we need to fix this. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. And gone through the growing pains that constitutes. And that is something that most other countries don't do. You know, they'll rise up saying, hey, we're going to do all this, and then they'll fall into something else. And then they'll take the easy way out. And that's one of the cool things is our country has not always taken the easy way out. We've actually, okay, this is going to be hard. Let's go through it. And that's one thing that's to be really proud of. My father, so I grew up, my dad was a high school and college coach. And then he became a principal of high school. But whenever you walked into his office, he had that sign above his desk. Ask not what your country can give you. Ask what you can do for your country. And that was a principle that I grew up believing, is that we live in the greatest country in the world. And so knowing what the legacy of my family and service is, you know, that was such a cool, okay, I get a chance to serve. And my father has been doing service his entire life. He was a principal. He was a coach. He worked with people. And then later on in life, he went down to Mexico and started running one of the largest orphanages in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Over 7,000 orphans have been gone through his system and are living better lives because of him. And thousands even more, what I would like to say, spoiled American kids have come down to help, and they have learned, okay, this is what being service is like. This is what actual hard work is like. And that, to me, is what is one of the key things that's missing today in the way that we're teaching and raising our young people, is we're not teaching them to be of service. And we're not teaching them that some things are hard. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes it's going to be a hard road to do something right. And that's an important growth. I don't know about you. I know for me, when I was in high school wrestling, when I was in high school football, when I was in the Marine Corps, when I was doing some of my training that I did later on in life, I had to go through the hard times. You know, whenever we're in the Marine Corps, you know, when we're in San Diego, you know, we're climbing up in Mount Pendleton. Mm-hmm. I mean, in Camp Pendleton, we have to climb up Mount Motherfucker. Excuse the French.
No, go for it. We're raw and unedited. Go for it.
Yes, sir. But we have to climb up Mount Motherfucker. And that is over a 32-mile hike, full pack, and you're going uphill. You know, there was over 70 guys in my unit when we started the march, and only 24 of us stayed together and made it. Other guys trailed off, and they end up having to run. They end up having to do all kinds of things to grow at the end. You know, as being one of the taller guys, I started towards the end, and I was slowly passing people along, and I'm realizing, oh my goodness, I'm not, you know, Captain America here. I'm not Steve Rogers. I don't have his type of body, but you know, I can still move. Mm-hmm. And that was when I first learned, okay, if I'm willing to endure the pain, if I'm willing to do the extra things, a lot more positive things can happen.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible memory for me. Um, so I'll backtrack a little bit. Grew up in Chicago, and then also spent some time down here in Dallas. Also lived a year in Alabama. Then ended up finishing up my high school years back in Chicago. Joined the Marine Corps right out of high school because of the service. I did the 2-year program where you go 2 years active, and then you go from there to reserve duty.
Okay.
And I ended up after the first 2 years going another year of active and then going to the reserves, because that was the 80s. 85, 86, 87. We were more worried about the Russians.
The Cold War and stuff.
The Cold War. This was Ronald Reagan time.
Cuban Missile Crisis too, I think?
No. Missile Crisis, that was in the late 70s.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was then. And I was like, okay, I'm doing my duty. I literally get out of Marine Corps and go to the reserves, get ready to start going to college, and Desert Storm hit. And so I'm married at this time. My daughter was literally 15 days old when my first deployment to Desert Storm happens. And I end up going over to Desert Storm. My job in the Marine Corps was I was anti-tank. So I did all heavy weapons. We can go into nomenclature, but I was a dragon gunner.
There you go.
And so for those of you who don't know what the Dragon is, or that's way before your time, you gotta remember this is the 80s. That was a wire-guided missile. So when we end up firing it in Kuwait at the Iraqi tanks, we literally would have to lock in and stay on target while the wire's going and directing the missile. So while it's directing the missile, the turret's turning.
So who's touching me?
It's like, okay, what's happening here? And you got your A gunner on your shoulder going, hey, the turret's turning. I go, I understand.
Need to hurry it up.
but I can't move the rocket any faster than
it's just like everything else, military. Hurry up and wait, but you're waiting as the turret's turning towards you.
Yes. And so, we end up having some fun during that time. Then they started getting their butts beaten, and then they started setting the oil tankers. I don't know if you remember that. The oil fields got on fire. I was lucky. I know you had a guy on here a couple of weeks ago who was a combat medic. We had a really good combat medic, and what he did was he gave us all those masks that we had to wear during COVID.
Yeah.
But he had a whole bunch of them with him going into country. So we all put that on, then we wrapped our face with scarves so that when we kind of got to, and that was on my face for a good 8, 9, 10 hours. So when we got a chance to take that off, the mask was literally black. And so the way I look at it is that guy giving us that saved all that tar from going into my lungs.
That's a lot of crap going in there.
Yes, sir. After that time in Desert Storm, and eventually got back to the States, and went back to reserves. President Clinton was elected, and he, about a couple of years into his presidency, he's like, hey, we're looking at cutting the size of the military. And so the way in the back of my mind is I'm a school teacher. I'm coaching a team. I'm coaching 2 different high school teams, coaching wrestling and coaching track. And I kind of would like to spend more weekends with my family.
Yeah.
The money's nice, but I'd kind of like to spend the time with my family. So I was like, hey, I'm out. And there was no repercussions. There was no negativity. A little bit of a smack you on the head on the way out, but I mean, it was what it was.
The normal process.
And from there, was a school teacher. Didn't have to worry about being in Marine Corps shape anymore, which was, first couple years, everybody gets out of service. You end up going from athletic bod to dad bod.
Yep. It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. And then 9/11 hit. And I don't know about you. I got mad.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, these mothers, they're going to attack us in our country.
Which hasn't happened since
Pearl
Pearl
Harbor.
Harbor. I mean, you don't count Timothy McVeigh because he was an American, supposedly, but yeah.
Right. And the original Twin Tower attack was so dumb that they're like, okay, let's blow it up from the parking garage. Some brainiac there. But they're attacking us in our country. I was like, what am I going to do? And then I listened to George Bush's speech when he put that flag up, and at the Twin Towers that he was there 2 or 3 days later, and he's talking about how we're going to get these bad guys and how and we need to bring the country together and all this sort of stuff. And I go, you know what? I want to defend my girls. I want to defend my family from any type of bad things that could be happening. So I walked into the Marine Corps recruiter's office that next day.
It's amazing how many recruiters' offices were flooded on September 12th.
Yeah. And I walked in and he goes, hey, how we doing, big guy? I'm doing great. Sergeant Hansen here, would like to return to duty. And he goes, yeah.
About that.
So this is what we're looking for right now. I want you to understand something. You were trained on an M16. We use M4s now. You were trained on a Dragon. We use Javelins, and we're on Javelin 3s now. So we're 3 generations away from the weapon systems that you learned. For us, it's more cost effective to train up a young, dumb 17-year-old PFC than to reboot a 32-year-old, 33-year-old sergeant.
Who's already set in his ways.
Right. So, thank you. Here's a Marine Corps sticker that you can stick on your car that says that you were a Marine at one time. And don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Those are very valuable.
Yes. I think it's somewhere on my garage.
Along with the support our troop yellow flags.
Right. And then, so as I'm walking out, the guy from the National Guard says, hey, Big Sarge. That's where I got the first nickname, Big Sarge. Do you really want to serve? I go, yes, sir. He goes, why don't you come on over here and join the dark side? So he walked into the guys. Hey, can I see his file? Pulled my file. He goes, yeah, we can use you. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, we have this thing. It's a try 2. All it's going to require you to do is do 2 years. And if you like it, or if we like you, we'll allow you to sign up for more. But it's on us to like you. And I was like, okay. And little did I know at that time that they were so needing troops. And there was going to be so many deployments that I could have been, 2 broken legs and a broken nose, and they would have still signed me up.
As long as you can shoot, they'll put you somewhere.
Yes, sir. And so I sign up. They swear me in, and he walks me over to drives me over to the nearest National Guard unit, and puts me in with them. And he goes, hey, I just want you guys to meet this William Big Sarge Hansen. And that's where the nickname stuck. Like I said, it was sort of meant to be a little jab from the Marine Corps, and the Guard took it and ran with it.
Good for him, though. It stuck all this time.
It kind of stuck. So from then on, I was, no matter what, it wasn't Bill, it wasn't William, it was Big Sarge. And so ended up serving with them. They got deployed to do airport duty. Now, I don't know if you remember that, but right after 9/11, we had military people in service in the airports. And so we were in the Sacramento airport, and basically we were walking around with our fatigues and our M4s, and just, giving security to people. Now, I have a secret for you. None of us had bullets.
Not even blanks.
I had a thing of blanks, and I had 3 bullets because I was a sergeant. Everybody else, pretty much empty.
Wow. Feels safer.
But here's the thing. Everybody had this.
It's the placebo effect.
Exactly. And so did 6 months like that, came back, went immediately after that, ended up being deployed to Iraq, did my first tour, did convoy security. And at one time I drove, at one time I was the gunner, at one time I was the commander of the tank, depending upon what mission we were doing, and did that for 9 months. Came back, shot my weapon a couple times, got shot at a couple of times. Pretty basic. I know you talk to a lot of different veterans, and they remember every single detail, but it was 72-hour missions.
Mm-hmm.
And a 72-hour mission means that you are driving forever until you get a place to stop.
And usually when you're driving out there, it's just desert. Camel, sand.
Right. And then occasionally you'd come to a checkpoint. That's when you really got excited. And that's usually when you got shot at.
Mm-hmm.
And so went through that, came back pretty much unscathed, and came home. And now it's time for me to make my decision. And they were like, well, we can sign you up for 4 years. I'm like, sure. Talked over my wife, and she was like, yeah, we need you gotta remember during that time was 2006, 2007. We're having the housing crisis, mortgages, everything's going wrong. My wife had lost her job, so I was supporting everybody. And so I was like, let's sign up. And at that time, they gave us a $1,000 bonus so got the $1,000 bonus, gave it to her. And within 3 months, I was redeployed to Egypt. And I did the Sinai, Egypt-Israel peacekeeping mission. That was a fun mission.
I bet.
That was a fun mission. That's the mission that they used to give to all the people in their last tour.
Okay.
So in their last tour, they would go to Sinai or they would go to the Presidio. But when they closed the Presidio down, then they started doing that. But once war broke out, they stopped doing that. They gave it to National Guard units. So did the National Guard. We did a year's worth there. Got a chance to visit Israel. Got a chance to visit the Sphinx. Got a chance to visit King Tut's tomb. All the different, go on the Nile River. Go up to Alexandria. Oh,
I'm jealous.
Oh, so Alexandria was there in the middle of Ramadan. So here I am. I'm visiting Alexandria. I'm by myself. The guy who was supposed to go with me, in which we signed up on our duty station that we're going to be going off with, and that they would have allowed me to go there, he got sick, so he didn't go. So I'm here in Alexandria, civilian clothes, walking down the middle of Alexandria. I'm a little bit taller than the average Egyptian. I'm a little bit larger. Well, I'm a lot larger than the average Egyptian. And so I'm walking down the middle of the street. They're Ramadan and they're doing all their party and everything like that with, tight haircut and a United States Marine Corps t-shirt.
Advertising.
And basically saying, I dare you.
Bring it.
But I'm just having fun. I'm just walking around, I'm talking to people. And it was one of those crazy situations where I'm like, why not? I should have probably wore a different shirt, but I couldn't really find any. And at that time, it was before paycheck, so I didn't feel like spending any extra money. And so I just wore what I had. And so walking down the street, having a good time, and eating the foods, because some of the foods there, that's when they had the food, was because at night, because during the day they couldn't eat.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible experience. Got a chance to visit the library. You know, you always hear about the Library of Alexandria, and they had literally 7 sections of, here, this floor, this floor, this floor, this floor. And okay, this is in Russian and Ukrainian and Slavic country. This is in English. This is in French. This is in Farsi. I mean, so you saw scrolls from like the time of Jesus. And so, I mean, it was a thing of beauty.
That had to have been.
And I'm a history geek. So, I mean, just to have the opportunity to go there, and then I got a guide, and she took me to all the different, like the Roman Colosseums, the Roman Colosseum that they had down there, and where they found the statue of Cleopatra, and all the other different sites that were in Alexandria. And so that was a wonderful trip.
Wow.
And then went from there up to Israel, and I got a chance to go in the Jordan River, go through, go up Masada. Oh, Masada. That was a beautiful, and that was one of my most fun experiences, because I had seen the TV series growing up. Okay. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they had CBS used to have these little mini series, and before they had cable, and so it was like a 3-part series, and it was about the Roman takeover of Masada and the Jewish defense against it.
Okay.
And it took Rome 10 years to try and conquer Masada. And they end up having to build a ramp. And then when they finally got to the top, the Jews committed suicide rather than let the Romans kill them.
Okay, I think I remember that. Yeah.
So, but they defended, they fought them for 10 years solid. And it cost several Roman generals their lives, and because they're like, why haven't you conquered these people yet? And then they get shot or killed, or not shot, beheaded, stabbed, killed, whatever the Romans would do, and they get a new general in. And so you have an opportunity. You can go up a trolley car up to it, or you can climb it. So I said, I've got to climb it. And so climb to the top. And so every single year when they have someone graduates from the Israeli infantry, they have to do a march, and they end at Masada. And they have a swearing-in ceremony where they say Masada will never fall again. And so that's a little tidbit of history.
That's cool.
And so I got a chance to visit that, get a chance to see that. At the base of Masada is where the Dead Sea is. So got a chance to go in there in the spa that they have down there. Never go in there with a bunch of old Russian men, just pre-warning. But it was a great opportunity. Came home, and Lisa who was my wife, started getting sick. And so she had cancer before, got through with it, and it had gone away, and now she started getting sick again. And so I was like, okay, when I get the opportunity, I'm going to get out. Then she started getting sick again. So the cancer that they found was in her in the bone marrow. And it was eating up her bones. So she went to pick up a kid, and her arm broke in 3 different spots.
Oh, shit.
And they ended up amputating her arm. And the medical bills that weren't being taken care of by TRICARE just became outstanding. And we were in danger of losing our house, like a lot of people were in that time. And so I said, okay, I'll go to one more tour, because the first time you re-signed, you got a $1,000 bonus. The second time you re-signed, you got a $10,000 bonus. So we got that $10,000 bonus, but it was, hey, you are going within the next month to Iraq. We just want you to know that. You're going within the next month to Iraq. So I signed it. We took that money, paid off the majority of her medical bills. There was still some more, but because we paid that off, there was some grace given and some other things. Some other person found out about it and paid the rest of it off, etc. And so we were using the money that was coming in to make sure that we didn't lose our house. Mm-hmm. And so I went off to Iraq, and that tour we ended up doing convoy security again. But this time I was a truck commander. Okay. And whereas last time I was all three. And in this time, I changed the way that the guy who had been our leader, or one of the guys that had been our leader, had been one of those hard authorian, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. I was more of a, listen, we're all in our 30s. You got lives outside of here. This is the National Guard. You guys all have lives. I expect you to be a professional. We had a young guy who he came on a mission, and he only had one magazine filled with bullets. And I'm like, when I'm doing my inspection, I'm like, what the hell? Do I have to go through this step by step? What happens if we get in a firefight? Well, we're not going to get in a fire. We haven't been in a firefight yet. I said, you just jinxed us.
Yeah. You just caused that.
You just caused that. And so made him go in and get more. And I was like, okay, I've got to check this person. He has proven that he is not a professional. I got to actually baby him and retrain him up. But I mean, my philosophy was, okay, you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're old enough to be able to make your own shots. So you shouldn't have to sit there and wipe their ass every day.
Exactly. And I would tell people, I said, so you know what you need to do physically. You know how much sleep you need. I know you like playing video games late in the night. And you guys all know that's one of the things. You know, I played Madden. Mm-hmm. I didn't do any of the other games of Call of Duty, mostly because way too much stuff going on, and I was just going, okay, I don't really need that. But I liked playing the Madden games, and would play. You had your football team, you had other people's football teams, and we'd play each other. However, if you know we're going on a mission and it's a 72-hour mission, you know you need to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep before. You know what food you need to have. Mm-hmm. You know that when we're going on these trips, how much you need to have stored in your bag for the rest of the way, because we're probably not going to get to the PX. We're not going to probably get to a chow hall for 12 hours. So you need to know how much you need. And I told them this at the beginning. I said, listen, I'm not going to babysit you. If you are stupid, probably the first time I might help you. But the second time, if you are stupid, you're going to be hungry. And I, gave everybody a different task. I said, okay, you're the one who's going to be filling up, for every single vehicle you had a cooler. Mm-hmm. You're going to be the guy who's going to grab all the rippets. I haven't had a rippet in like 10 years, but it's like carbonated, joy.
I got dogged on because I've never really had one. Out there, I did Red Bulls.
Well, I liked Monsters, mm-hmm. But for me, the rippets were free.
Yeah. We got free Slim Jims, but they were also like a month after the expiration date.
No, we didn't get anything like that. I never really ate an MRE. Once I got on my last tour, my last deployment, I didn't eat one MRE. No, I packed tuna. I packed the different snacks. I was prepared because every single time I had one of those MREs, I couldn't crap for 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
And when you get older, you need to make sure your body's working.
You probably didn't chew the laxative gum that they give us.
No. Ugh. And so that was, but I was prepared. I knew what my body needed.
Yeah.
And I also had like protein shakes. I had other things that I would be ready with so that I can make it through the mission. And then when we would go to the PX at wherever we would stop, I can know, okay, I can log in this, I can log in that, I can grab this, I can grab that. And so for me, the idea was I want you to treat you like you know what you're doing. And so that way, if someone says, hey, I see something, I'm giving you the confidence to say, I don't have to say, oh, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or where? I said, where? I'm okay. Where are you seeing it? What's the angle? Is it 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock? What are we looking at? Are you seeing heads? Are you seeing weapons? Are you seeing flash? What are you seeing? Not trusting them that they're not seeing something. I just simply want to know what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So that whether or not we're returning fire or not. Because especially underneath the Obama administration, I don't know how it was. I know how it was under the Bush, but my second deployment was under the Obama administration. And if you return fire and the guy had turned around and ran away and you returned fire, you could be brought up on charges. So there was a lot of, hey, make sure that they're still firing at you before you return fire.
The rules of engagement were kind of ridiculous at times, because I know when we were told that they can point a gun at you, but unless they pull that trigger and they're actually actively shooting at you, you can't really return fire.
Right. And, you look at Desert Storm. Rules of engagement where you see bad guy doing bad things, you take care of it.
Fuck them up.
After 100 hours, it became capture them.
Mm.
But we had already pretty much messed up their world
Decimated
so bad,
the entire army.
Right? That they were like, 9 times out of 10, they were, hey, we surrender. It was going back to Desert Storm. It's surprising how many Americans we captured that were from Iraq, that were in Iraq.
Oh wow!
They were. I was in America. I was raised there. And my parents flew me back home, and then I got drafted into the Army.
That makes sense, though.
And it's kind of like I don't know if you've ever seen Band of Brothers.
Oh yes.
Where the guy from Oregon is coming back, and he's talking about he sees one of the prisoners, and starts talking to the prisoner, and they were doing the same job, 20 miles from each other.
Yeah, and he was one of the German prisoners,
right?
And the LT basically shot them all.
Right. Spears.
Yes.
Ronald Spears.
I love that show.
Oh, if you don't love that show, I mean, we have to check your pulse.
Are you really even American?
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
I tried to watch the Pacific one, but Band of Brothers just took it on. It was just so close to like Saving Private Ryan and just how great it was.
Well, I watched the Pacific. I actually liked the Pacific, but the one I want to watch is the one that they just did on Apple.
Okay.
About the Air Force. And I have not got a chance to see that yet because I'm being cheap and I'm not buying Apple TV.
I've never owned Apple TV.
When Ted Lasso comes for season 4, I might buy Apple TV just for that season, and I'm going to catch up on it. But before that, when Ted Lasso was on, I watched it. When it got off, I turned it off. I'm honest. I mean, there's a lot of shows. I mean, 95% of the movies that you want to see, you can see it on Prime. You can see it on YouTube TV. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on their movie channel for free.
Netflix, HBO Max.
Yeah,
Hulu.
I mean, why have 15 different subscriptions?
Yeah,
because I'm a semi-strict parent. Some say I'm strict, some say I'm not. But I limit what we're spending money on. Like I don't have Netflix, but I have Prime because it comes with having the Prime thing for Amazon because nowadays you can't do anything unless you have a Prime membership because Amazon comes for everything.
Yeah.
But I also have Angel, I have Hulu, and that's about it.
See,
and then I have the YouTube.
We rotate through them. Like I'll have my YouTube Premium because I hate ads, especially every 10 seconds. We have the Amazon Prime. But we'll go from like Netflix. We'll have that for a couple of months. Then when the kids are here for Christmas, we'll have the Disney Plus and cancel the Netflix. Go to HBO because they're coming out with a new cool series, and we just rotate between a lot of them.
So my YouTube movies. So I had it like at 20 or 30, and then somehow in the last 2 years I've gone from 30 to 100 because I'm like, okay, I want to watch this movie. You know, they're like, well, we'll rent it. Well, $7 more, I can own it.
Yeah.
It's still cheaper than taking you to the movies.
Oh, yeah. And plus, you can pause it whenever you have to go take a piss.
Right.
That's
or,
one of my favorite things.
Or if the kids want to go do something, or if someone calls. And so that's always, kind of that. So back to the story. Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're fine, man.
We get talking and, you wind me up and just let me go.
There we go.
So, in my last deployment, what ended up happening is, in January of 2009, we were on a 72-hour mission. We had done about 20 of them already that deployment. And we hadn't been shot at or had any IEDs or anything like that for about 2 months. And we're going on our third month. And so, you know how it is. You almost feel like you can relax a little bit.
But the shoe's going to drop soon.
Well, I'm still to this day not exactly sure what shoe dropped. So, like I said, we were the tail end vehicle. So the way I took that, some people take that as a insult. Some people take that as a compliment. I took it as a compliment, saying that, okay, we are protecting the rear end of this vehicle, of this convoy. No matter what, we were like 10 paces back. And so we were making sure that no one runs behind us, no one anything. If anyone's shooting ahead, we can return fire at a good angle. And so that's what we were looking. And we were at the end. We had gone all the way down to Tikrit, from Tikrit, all the way down to, I'm drawing a blank on the name. We did 2 different stops.
Okay.
And we were doing convoys and we're coming back to Tikrit. And we'd been 72 hours, so it's like hour 71. So everyone's tired. And out of nowhere, an explosion happens. And we're going, if you've done convoy security, you're doing about 60 miles an hour down the road, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're at 55, sometimes you're at 60. Still going a pretty good
You're just
thing.
trying to get the fuck out of there.
Exactly. You're just trying to get home. And an explosion happened 5 paces to our left. And so my driver does what everybody in the world would have done in that situation. Crap, explosion, crank the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we went right into a brick wall going 50 miles an hour. And I put my face into the bulletproof glass, snapped my head back, hit this metal that was behind us. And I really don't remember anything for the next 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
My roommate says that I was functional. I was talking to people. I didn't make any sense, but I was talking to people. I had a glassy kind of look on my face. I was walking around, but I was walking kind of slow. I went to sleep almost immediately. And so my roommate's like, so I've got a 300-pound gorilla roommate who's got a concussion. And so I get up, I go eat, I come back, do all the things, and I wake up on like the 3rd or 4th day, and I've got the worst headache that I can ever imagine. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I'm trying to turn my neck, and it's like, oh, it hurts. Okay. What am I going to do? Because they just called off that, hey, start packing up. We're going on another mission. So you've been in the military. You understand, in that situation, what are you going to do?
You don't go to sick call. You go get ready for the mission.
You get ready for the mission, but I went by the medic.
Mm-hmm.
I said, listen, what are you giving anybody who's got some pains, some aches and pains? And he gave me not the 200 milligrams of ibuprofen. He gave me the 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen. And I go, okay. And so he gives me about a week's worth. And he goes, okay, this should help you get through the mission. So I'm popping those like they're candy.
Yeah.
Get through the mission, come back. I start talking to my guy. I said, what's going on? My neck really hurts. My back is killing me. And he goes, well, you saw the medic, not him, but our other medic. I said, what happened? And our other medic was this petite little young kid who they're like, oh, just move your neck. Can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, you seem to be functional. You're okay.
Glorious.
Which, what else are they going to do? There's no MRI machine.
Yeah, you can't do much X-rays.
There's no X-rays. This is 2009. You know, every single emergency vehicle now, every single ambulance has got a mobile MRI machine. They have, you know, those sort of things that type of technology wasn't around back then. We didn't have, you know, our cell phone pictures look like this.
That grainy 8 megabyte or whatever.
Right. And we didn't have cell phones out in country. We didn't have any of that sort of stuff.
No, it was like those small digital stupid cameras that still didn't take pictures worth of crap.
Yeah, that's what we had. And so there's nothing they could have done anyway other than send me home. Or if they found something, oh, yeah, you hurt this, so we're going to send you to Kuwait. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, I was like, well, okay. And then one of the other guys I said, man, my neck's hurting. He goes, yeah, my knee's been hurting. I've been taking this stuff. And another guy goes, yeah, I hurt my back. I'm like, okay, everybody's hurt.
Mm-hmm. Push forward.
So we're going to push on forward. So I started taking more of the medication. And I don't know how you were. I'd like to think I'm a pretty personable guy. And so I try and talk to everybody. So I started talking to guys in another unit. And I talked to their medic. I was like, hey, I can't find my guy. We're about ready to go on a mission. Can you hook me up? And he goes, well, what did I give you last time? I said this. And it wasn't that effective. He goes, why don't you try this one? And it's added some codeine and added some other things. I was like, okay, great. Left him, went and found a guy from a different unit. Hey, how about this? So by the time I left there, I had a Costco vitamin bottle full of medication.
Jeez.
And I was popping them like they were candy. I ended up doing 22 missions like that. And was in a lot of pain. I was getting angry. But, I mean, what are you going to do in that situation? I was a power lifter before to I can barely, you know, I was bench pressing over 500 pounds, 400 pounds. And now I can barely do 220 without hurting my back. And then I was leg pressing over 1,000 pounds, and now I'm having problems doing single leg squats. I mean, just my body was fighting me on everything. And literally the whole last month of my deployment, all I did was the elliptical. Go from powerlifting to just doing the elliptical.
At least you got some strong thighs from it.
Yes, sir. And so we get to Fort Hood. And they're doing, I don't know if you've ever gone through a National Guard breakdown or a reserve breakdown, but basically what they do is they have you sign off on everything. And if there's a problem with something, they say go to the VA. Because they're trying to get you, off of active duty mission, off of active duty and onto National Guard and VA the budgets.
Okay.
They want you off the active duty budget and onto the National Guard and the VA budget. That's basically all it was.
Okay.
Well, I was talking to a couple of people, and one of the guys he insisted. He says, you do not sign off until you feel comfortable that you're being checked. And so they came to me. They're like, you have any problems? I said, yes, my neck, my back, and my head. Well, what happened? I told them. Well, you still did missions. Yes, but I was in a lot of pain. I was taking a lot of pain pills. Well, can't you continue to do this? I said, well, I want it checked out before I sign off. And I made a stink. I got yelled at by leadership, which you understand happens.
Oh,
And I was like, how much is it going to cost? It's going to be one more day of me on active duty. If I'm okay, if the x-rays come back clean, if the MRI comes back clean, I'll gladly sign this. I just simply want an MRI. I just simply want to be checked. And they grumble, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, one more day. So they put me through the x-ray, they put me through the MRI, and they go, oh, okay, so you have 4 fractures in your neck. You have 3 herniated discs in your lower back. You tore your oblique muscle, and looks like that you suffered a traumatic brain injury, probably a level 3, level 4. Yeah.
no shit.
I was like, okay. They said, yeah, you are going to be leaving Fort Hood and you're going to be going to Fort Lewis for rehab. And so 2 years ago, I had someone look over my medical, and basically he took a look at my head because I was still complaining. I still had, to this day, still have headaches. And he said, yeah, here's the deal. If you were playing in the NFL or even in college and I saw this, you'd be in the concussion protocol for 6 months. That's how bad your head was hurt. I was like, okay, that's good to know. So I go to Fort Lewis and end up spending 6 months there because that was the maximum amount of time that they would let you do rehabilitation there.
Okay.
And so they had me doing yoga. They had me doing some other things to try and get me moving again. They were trying all kinds of different meds. They would have you sign off, hey, do you believe in these meds? Sure, no. And ended up, while I was there, I pretty much got my second Costco bottle full of pain meds. So I was developing a pretty good addiction to that. And after 6 months, they said, okay, we've done as much as we can for you. You need to now go back, and you're going to be on National Guard active duty or Chapter 32 orders. You're still going to be on active duty, but you're going to be on the state budget. You're not going to be on the national budget anymore. And so, not Title 10 orders, you're going to be on Title 32 orders. And you're going to be checking in, and you have to go to your appointments, things along that line, until they sign you off. And when, I don't know about you, but if you come from an active duty scenario to one where all you have to do is text the first sergeant, hey, I'm here, I went to my appointment, boom, and that's all you have to do during the day. How many times, instead of going to like yoga class, like you're supposed to, like they tell you for your rehab you need to do, how often are you going to do it?
Probably not much.
Right. So I end up sinking into my couch. And I've had a couple people where I've told the story, and I'm going into a lot more detail than I do with a lot of people, but we have time, so I figured it'd be a good thing. I end up sinking into my couch. And that was when Netflix was, they'd give you DVDs, they'd send them back and forth. And I went through the entire Friends series. Oh. I went through the entire, NCIS series. I went through the entire Game of Thrones, you name it. I was watching every single video series, Battlestar Galactica, all those sort of really good.
The good ones.
Firefly, Serenity, all those sort of TV series and things like that. Like I was going through them and I was sinking into my couch. And my wife's dealing with her cancer. I'm dealing with this, my injuries. I'm becoming addicted to pain pills. I'm becoming angry. I go see my VA doctor and he's like, you just simply need to sit tight. I don't want you doing anything because you hurt yourself and you need to let that heal. I'm like, well, the doctors at Fort Lewis said, I'm telling the VA doctor, said the doctors at Fort Lewis said, you already went through 4 months of recovery while you're doing the missions. The bones had already started healing. Mm-hmm. And then I did another 6 months at Fort Lewis. You're telling me I still need to be down? He goes, yes, you still need to be down. He goes, are you still having problems with your knees? Are you still having problems walking? I go, yeah. I said, that's because I'm out of shape.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, you need to let your body heal. You need to let your mind heal. You're angry. We need to get you into some counseling, some other stuff. And here you're having anxiety. So here, let's start you on these anti-anxiety meds while you're taking these pain pills. And then I'm like, okay. So then I come back in 2 months later and he goes, Dan, you've put on 20 pounds. I said, yeah, because I'm not being active. He goes, yeah, your blood pressure's up here. So here, why don't you take these blood pressure pills? So he goes, are you having bad dreams? Are you having anxiety? Are you having problems because of your PTSD? Because you were in combat many times. Are you having problems with that? I said, I have some bad dreams.
Here's Ambien.
Exactly. Here's this. So now what's going on is I'm going, wait. I took it and my personality started shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And I started becoming angry at life. Then I'd get depressed. Then I get hyper. Then I become depressed. Then I get angry. Then all this sort of stuff.
Just a fucking roller coaster.
And it's because of all this medication.
Yes, that they love to shove.
And so one night, Amanda, she was in elementary school at this time. Right now she's 26 and she's starring in plays here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I mean, she dropped something, broke something. To this day, I don't 100% remember what it was. Now, my wife's in the hospital because of her cancer treatments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at home with the girls. I'm dealing with all this crap. And I snapped. And I yelled at her, and I'd like to think that I am a very pleasant person, and I try really hard to be the best dad that I possibly can be. However, I don't yell at my kids unless it's something silly. Like, hey, don't run into the street to my boy.
Those are the important ones. Don't run in the parking lot where cars are backing up.
Right.
I ain't paying attention.
Right. But I yelled at her for dropping something. And I'm 6'2", I'm about 300 pounds, I'm a big boy. You would think that she would scream, holler, and run away. Or she'd scream back at me, like some kids do on occasion. She didn't do that. She just looked at me, and she's got these big old eyes. And she slowly walked up to me, and she touched my face, and she goes, Dad, what's the matter?
Oh.
You haven't been you since you came home. Broke my heart.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing? And I apologized to her. I said, I'm so sorry. And I put her to bed, and I end up calling my dad, and I just vomited on the phone. I said, this is what's going on. He goes, doctors are not always right.
Especially VA doctors.
Well, he goes, when was the last time you worked out for real? And I told him. He goes, you were a state champion wrestler. Obviously, I was the heavyweight wrestler. I wasn't the 115-pounder.
The featherweight like me would be.
Right. But, I mean, he goes, you were that. You played some college football. You tried out. You did a bunch of different things. That was all. You were in the Marine Corps. You were very active. You stopped being active. And it's messing with your mind. It's messing with your heart. It's messing with your soul. You need to be doing something. You can't just simply sit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you're right. So I go next day, I go on Google, and I go, injured veteran needs help. Type that into Google. If you do that today, you would see, 20 or 30 different groups, organizations. Back then, there was only about 6.
Yeah, it was very limited.
And half of those 6 were shit anyways. People trying to scam on you. So I called all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sit there and you wait. Now, I don't know about you. The hardest time is when you actually reach that point where you go, I need help. And you reach out for help and no one's answering.
Yeah, we just went through that one. So, yeah, trust me, I get that.
So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden the phone rings. Hey, are you Hansen? Yeah, I'm Hansen. He goes, I'm so-and-so. I'm with Wounded Warrior Project. Oh. He goes, yeah, we got your call. What's going on? And I start talking to him. He goes, where are you? I go, I'm up in Sacramento. He goes, I'm an hour away. You want to grab lunch? And I was like, yeah. He goes, meet me here in about an hour. All right. I'd been hadn't taken a shower in like 3 days. You know how you get when you're sunk in.
When you're done, you're just...
Yeah, you're not. So I went in, took a shower. Got dressed, put on clean clothes, everything. And just doing that and knowing I'm actually going to talk to someone, my mood 360.
Flips you. It helps so much.
Oh, yeah. And so I went there and talked to him and again, vomited all the different things that was going on. And he goes, you know what you sound like to me? Like you sound like you need to do something active. And I'm like, my dad just freaking said that.
I see a trend going here.
There might be something going on to this.
He might actually have been right.
He goes, well, we're having this bike ride down in Arizona next week. It's going to be Wednesday through Saturday. Can you get away? Yeah, I can get away. He goes, okay, we can fly you down there. It's not going to cost you anything. And we'll give you the bike when we get down there. You get clothes, you get everything. All you need is a couple of changes of clothes. Like, okay. And so they flew me down there and get on. Now, we're on a bike ride. I mean, how hard is it to ride a bike?
Not hard to ride a bike.
But it's been 12 years since I've ridden a bike. And my legs I'm about 100 pounds heavier than the last time I rode a bike.
You're going to feel that.
Yeah. So I get on there and we do 17 miles the first day. And I'm like, okay, I finish it. No problem. Get it done. But I'm feeling it because I really haven't worked out for a year and a half. And I'd put on a lot of fat and I'd become a little bit more portly. And I get done and we're all having dinner and they're like, okay, what we want you guys to do is we want you to, there's a couple different spots here. We want you to take your table and just introduce yourselves to everybody in the table and let's just talk. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So guy next to me introduces himself. I'm like, okay, I'm here. And we start going. And one thing I go is, I've been dealing with some stuff with my family and feeling isolated. And I'm just glad I got an opportunity to see other people. And the guy next to me goes, you know what? I'm feeling the same way. I feel extremely isolated. The fact that you're here and you're doing this is good for me too. And the guy across from us goes, you know what? I just got in a fight with my wife and I don't know if we're going to get divorced. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like there's nothing I can do that's right. And I go, yeah, I feel like there's nothing I can do that's right. And then this guy over here goes, oh, yeah, and what's going on with your kids? I mean, for my kids, I'm like, I try and tell them to do something and literally opened up an hour's worth of conversation where we're all just simply leaning on each other.
And that guy's in the back going, it worked.
Right. But the idea was I'm not alone in this.
And that's the biggest thing.
And you're going to, okay. So the next day we're doing 20 miles. And so we're all riding together. Now all of a sudden I know the guy next to me and John's having a hard time. So I'm like pulling up behind him. Hey, how you doing, buddy? We got this. And now we can encourage each other.
Now you're acting like a squad.
Exactly. And that was the idea. So we get through the third day and we're doing 29 miles on the third day. And it was a big thing. And we were going around the city of Phoenix and we're doing some other things. And they had the fire department there and they You know how they do it when a service plane comes through and they douse the plane with the water?
Yes.
Well, they were dousing us as we were going through it. And, it's hot as hell in Arizona, so that felt really good.
Probably much needed.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a really cool symbolic gesture of, hey, you guys are coming home. And while we were on the bus back to the hotel, I go, now what do we do? I said, man, I want to move on from this because I don't want to be in this spot anymore. And one of the guys goes, well, you know what I'm doing? I go, what? He goes, well, in 2 weeks, I'm doing the Tough Mudder. I go, what the hell is a Tough Mudder? He goes, well, you're going to do 10 to 12 miles. We're doing this in Tahoe, so you're going to be going up and down mountains. You're going to do 10 to 14 obstacles. I said, that sounds freaking crazy. All right, I'm in.
Yep. Sounds crazy, but fun.
So I get there, and it's about a week from doing it. So I'm like, I got a week to try to train for this. So literally all I did is I get on the bike, and I get on the elliptical, and I do some dumbbell stuff, and that's about it. Because I number one, I only have a week. And number two, all I'm trying to do is get my body
conditioned,
prepped, not even conditioned.
Yeah.
Prepped for the idea of this is going to be jaunting. You got to have a little bit of a buffer. You already got to get the stiffness in there so you can understand, so that when you do it, your muscles already understand, okay, this is what we're doing. And so if you are in shape and you're in great shape, doing this is going to take you 2.5 hours, 3 hours. For me, it became a mental struggle. Are you going to go back to being the man that you were? Or are you going to stay stuck on the couch? And so this was a mental struggle, which I said, there's no fucking way I'm not going to quit. And it took me 5.5, 6 hours, but I finished it.
And that's what matters.
And that took this big old burden. And I don't know about you, or I don't know anybody else, but for me, it felt like this weight just lifted off my shoulders. Yeah, I'm a step closer to the guy I used to be before I got hurt.
And it's a lot further than the couch.
Right. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take any more of these things. So I took all the anti-anxiety medication. I did what you're not supposed to do. I apologize. Guys, unless you're doing it under doctor's orders, do not do this. Because, dumb guy here did it the wrong way.
Don't flush your medicine. They have amnesty boxes at the police stations and at hospitals.
Well, I flushed all mine. Except for some of the pain meds, some of the big ibuprofens, and some of the blood pressure meds. Because I still was big. And so all the anxiety, all the PTSD medication, all that sort of stuff went away. The majority of the pain medication that wasn't ibuprofen went away. And I said, okay, this is going to be me. This is the journey I'm going to be on. I told my wife, I told the girls, hey, next week or so, I'm not going to be a pleasant person. Understand what I'm doing. And they were like, got it, Dad. Thank you for telling us. And then they were like, thank you for doing this.
Mm-hmm. That's the bigger part.
And they were like, we got you. And so went through it. I was not a pleasant person for that week and a week and a half.
I wouldn't imagine.
And then I said, okay. I called my dad. I go, now what do? I got rid of all this stuff. He goes, what have you been doing your whole life? I said, coaching and teaching. And then I go, and being military. He goes, okay. What have you been doing all your whole life? Coaching and teaching. Okay. What have you been doing your whole life? And, me being, the jarhead I am, the crayon eater, it took me 3 times going, oh,
damn.
Okay. I got it. So I was still on the Chapter 32 orders. I had another 2 months of that. So I had a chance to actually, they were paying for me to go to a yoga studio.
Oh, nice.
because that was part of what I was supposed to have been doing. I was supposed to have been doing the yoga, but I didn't. No one's really actually checking on me, so I'm not really going. So I started going. And I went every single day. And then I was like, man, I want to do some stuff. And so I looked on Groupon and I saw a week at 2 weeks of CrossFit for $5. Went in there, talked to the guy who was running it. His family had all been military. He didn't go military, but he had a big love for vets and everything along that line. And so he was like, tell you what, if you are serious about this and you want to get yourself in shape, I will sell you 6 months for $60, which was extremely cheap.
Yeah.
But he goes, I'm not going to give it to you for free. I want you to have skin in the game. It was a $10 skin, but still it was skin in the game.
But there's still skin, yes.
Right. So I started going to yoga 5 times a week, and then I would go to CrossFit 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. And I started getting myself back better. And I started feeling more like myself. And I was like thinking, okay, now what I want to do, and because I had been a school teacher and I had taught U.S. history and I'd been a coach. Well, I can't be a wrestling coach with my spine or with my back or with my neck because I can't do the moves. And the job that I was about ready to go went the way of the dodo bird because of budget cuts. And so I was without real work. At the school district. So I ended up talking to different groups and talked to the guy who was the CrossFit coach. And after I did the 6 months, I go, man, I would really like to start doing a class and start training vets and taking care of vets. And basically he said, well, we have 2 nights a week where you can come in and train vets, but before you can be on our insurance, I need you to get a CrossFit certification and I need you to get a rehabilitative certification, which I didn't think was too bad. And he goes, I've seen you here. I know how hard you work. I know what type of motivation you bring. You would be a great teacher. However, for our insurance, I need you to get these things. And so I was talking to someone one day and I was like, yeah, I'm starting saving up. I'm going to get this CrossFit certification. And he told someone who told someone. That guy calls me up and he goes, hey, I heard you're going to be doing, you're getting your CrossFit certification. I go, yeah, it's going to cost me a XYZ and I'm going to have to go down to Vegas because that's where they're doing it. So it's, weekend type of thing. So I need to save up about $3,000 to be able to do all this, fly out there, et cetera, et cetera. He goes, when's the next one? I go, 2 weeks. He goes, check your Venmo.
Pack your bags.
And pack your bags. I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I know you. I've known you forever. You go take care of vets. I was like, wow. So within a month, I was a certified CrossFit coach. And while I was at the CrossFit thing, getting the certification, I was talking to a couple of people there. And they were like, oh, what are you doing this for? Talking to the people who run the CrossFit. And I was telling them, hey, it was the CrossFit gym in Vegas. And I was like, yeah, well, I want to help vets doing CrossFit, and I want to help them rehabilitate their lives. As soon as I get done with the certification, then I'm going to go get my rehab certification. And they're like, well, okay. One guy told another guy, who told another guy, told another guy. While I'm about ready to get on the plane, I get a phone call. Hey, are you Sergeant Hansen? Yes, sir. How can I help you? He goes, so-and-so told me that you're trying to get a rehab certification. I go, yes, sir. He goes, did you pass your CrossFit? I said, yes, sir. Flying colors. He goes, great. This is my number. As soon as you land, I want you to call me. I need to know all the details. Okay. He goes, you have the the program that you want to do? I go, yes, sir. I got everything written down. He goes, great. Call me as soon as you land. As soon as I landed, I called him, and he's like, okay. I said, well, this is good. It's like $2,000. And I have to do, it's a 4-month program, and I have to check in. I have to visit in, but it's done through Sacramento State. He goes, okay. I go, what do you mean, okay? He goes, you're doing it. He goes, I go, what? He goes, you're doing it. You live in Sacramento. I go, yes, sir. He goes, I live over here in Rockland. Come on over to my house. I'll give you the money right now.
Oh, wow.
Don't know. I never met this guy, but he had heard about me. And so, long story short, I did this for about 2 years where I ran this certification. I ran these classes, and we started doing CrossFit competitions. We trained veterans up to go, and we did CrossFit competitions as a team. We did we did a couple more Tough Mudders, and we were doing some really fun things, and I got back into my role as a coach because that's what I had grown up. My father had been a coach. I always wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be as smart like my dad. I was like, okay, I'm calling my dad. My dad and I would have weekly conversations, and he would be like, okay, so have you read this book? He's like, Rick Pitino's got this book, about hard work and how you do this. He'd be like, Dean Smith, why don't you read his autobiography? He goes, I know you're not going to like all of it, but some of it's really good stuff. But here's Bobby Knight's one. I mean, he started giving me different book upon different book upon different book to read. And so I would read them, and I would try and apply different principles to the way that I was coaching. And we would talk through situations, and then he's like, well, so-and-so from this place, he goes, here, I'm going to send him your number, and I'm going to have him call you. Why don't you talk it over with him? Then we talked to another person who was about psychology, and he set me up with different people to just simply have conversations. And then once I would have conversations with them, I was able to apply that knowledge to how I was working with people. And I stopped just doing the class. I did the classes, but I started doing people one-on-one. And because some guys couldn't come to the classes, some guys, their injuries were so bad, I'm literally sitting there going, okay, how can we get you to move? One guy had been shot through the leg, and his Achilles was pretty much gone, and his calf was pretty much gone. And so we're going, okay, how are we going to get you to move to do some of these things? Okay, so for every single time we do a squat, we're going to have to put a board underneath your heel. We're going to have to, and we're not going to do with you with heavy weights. We're going to do a lot of body weight stuff. I want you holding on to this pole right here. And I started training people one-on-one. And in these classes and in this one-on-one, you being a vet, you understand this concept probably better than most people. The VA, when they talk about having group sessions, we all get in these folded chairs, and we get in a circle, and we start talking. People are saying, well, we just simply start talking. How often does that work?
From my experience, not that often.
Right.
Most of us don't want to be in a group just bitching and crying.
Right. Exactly. But you get 5 guys bench pressing. You get those endorphins going. And you get them, okay, you're going to bench press, and then you're going to, as soon as you're done with bench press, you're going to run onto this rower, and you're going to do 300 meters. Then you're going to get in line to bench press again. And you get that sweat going, and you get that camaraderie going, you get going, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm so frustrated. Well, what's going on, bud? Me and the old lady got in a fight. Well, over what? Well, she said she's having a problem with this, and so I told her this is the best way to fix it. And she says, you don't understand women. And, this sort of thing where the frustration. And so, okay, well, we've been, then people can start opening up.
Yeah, vent and then start sharing life experiences in order to help
Right.
the collective.
Right. And that's how I got involved in doing and helping more people. And they Wounded Warrior Project, they did this big fundraiser where they videotaped a bunch of sessions, and they videotaped me where and they had a series of different 10 people where they were like, okay, we're gonna give like a snapshots of your life and how you are feeling after returning from war and how you are changing lives after you've returned from war. I had a friend named Shane who was an MMA fighter, and they talked about him. There's this girl named Angie, and she's into the anti-drug and how it messes with people's bodies. There was me who was doing, working out, doing tough things and becoming stronger. There was a buddy of mine named Chris who was talking about how you do it when you get so hurt that all you can do is adaptive sports and doing things along that line. I had another buddy who was talking about how he lost his leg, but how he's becoming remarried and being a father, all these different things. And it was on Netflix for a little bit, but when they did my filming, we did the Tough Mudder as a group, and they filmed it. And it was this is my 4th time doing a Tough Mudder, and by now I know the deal. I know how to do it. I'm in great shape for doing it. And I end up carrying a guy who had broken one of the bones in his foot, and I'm carrying him over the finish line.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, they used that that got used in PR.
Of course.
And so anytime I go down there, it's actually on the wall when you walk in there. So they use that all the time now as, they said Sergeant Hansen is doing the Wounded Warrior pose, which is carrying someone you can carry. And the idea behind them is that you want to be able to carry those who can't actually walk themselves right now.
No man left behind.
Exactly. And I've been doing things with Team Semper Fi. I've been doing things with Folds of Honor. I've been trying to help them out with their stuff. They had me on the Rachel Ray show, which was a funny thing. So for Veterans Day, I got a chance to go on the Rachel Ray show. She grabbed my butt, which was hysterically funny.
I was about to say, let it go.
I was like,
all right.
Okay. But I mean, it was a fun opportunity. But I've spent, ever since then, my life has become, okay, how can I be an example? How can I live my life the right way? So not only am I an example to my family, but I'm an example to the veteran community.
Mm-hmm.
Which comes back to my philosophy in life. I think right now we have things inverted to how life is supposed to be in a lot of things. Right now, so many people are up in arms over all this Desperia stuff that they have zero ability to talk about or to change. Whether you like Donald Trump or you hate Donald Trump, I don't really care. Me as an individual, I don't make enough money for any of my opinions to matter anything. Whether you like ICE or hate ICE, I am not in any type of political thing where any of my opinions can matter, whether I'm going to protest or whether I'm going to support. It doesn't matter. But what I can deal with, and what veterans I think ought to be dealing with, is I can take care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
I can take care of making sure that my girls are being raised to be the best productive, good kids and good girls and good women, being them strong, being type of women that they can be. That I can raise my son to be the strong protector and defender and smart and the right type of person that he can be. I can be involved in my sister's lives. I can be involved in my nieces, my nephews. I can be involved in my cousin's life, in that family. I can help them out the best I possibly can. That should be 50% of my focus in my life. Then 40% is what's in the veteran community. What's in the community? How can I help fellow veterans? How can I help people who may be hurting in the veteran community? Or maybe are doing great, but they need a pat in the back saying, man, keep up the good work.
Get that little bit of motivation in.
Yeah, keep that motivation. And for me to go, hey, listen, if this old fat guy can spend a year in which he competes at the Arnolds in strongman, then turn around and do the Army 10 miler, and then turn around and do a Hydrox race. If me at 58 and 300 pounds can do that, you can get off the couch and spend time on a bike. You can get off the couch and jog around the block. You can get off the couch and lift a couple of weights. And I think too often, and that's just within the veteran community. You look about your kids' community. Okay, your kids, if they're playing soccer, if they're playing kids in their school, you look at people in your neighborhood. I really like those, and this is going to tell you how goofy I am sometimes, but I will sit there and I will watch the videos of that guy who goes around and mows everyone's lawn.
Oh, yeah, we do too. It's such a good act of kindness.
Right. When was the last time anybody has actually gone and mowed it? I've got a widow lady who just lost her husband 3 months ago. My son and I went and he's 5, so he's not really doing much, but he's there playing. But he's there and he saw me mow her lawn. How often are you spending time helping people in your community? My best friend, well, not my best friend, but he's a really good friend. We talk all the time. His philosophy in politics is this way. My politics are this way. Okay. I'm not going to say who's who.
Yeah.
Okay. However, he and I can have conversations and I can respect the hell out of him because he takes care of his family.
Mm-hmm.
He takes care of the people who he has his business. He takes care of his employees. He makes sure that they're doing good. And he takes care of the people on his block. You know what? Talking politics, no matter what, I'm not going to be able to change anything. You're not going to be able to change anything. But if we're dealing with 90% of our energy is taking care of the people in our community, taking care of our families, you know what? The politics is going to take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And too often right now, especially with the internet and with social media and with podcasts, and not saying this podcast, but other podcasts, but when you see a podcast where people are trying to say something spicy, say something crazy just to get likes and just to get clicks, instead of telling the truth, if you take care of those two main things, the rest of life in America is going to take care of itself.
Well, we've looked at it too. One of the last stories I edited, it's a hard one. It's a lot about MST, and I could have edited it in a way to get the likes and clicks and shit, but that's not our style. And I even felt bad the way I edited it as it is, because it is telling the hard story, but it's not getting them just for the likes and stuff. MST is not talked about a lot, so it needs to be brought up, and a lot of people need to hear that story.
I've talked to at least 15 girls and guys who've dealt with MST.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not saying it for likes or for dislikes. I can't think of a more cowardly thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And I completely agree.
So my first wife passed away from cancer. I had a time when I was mourning and I wasn't dating, I wasn't seeing anybody. And then I started going out a little bit and trying to see, okay, what is out there for me? And I went on some dates with some people and I realized, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. And I found my current wife, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And my first date with her, I realized this is what I'm looking for. And we got, so we, first date was in August. I asked her to marry me in January.
Nice.
Now, there's a little bit of a backstory to that. I got offered a job. I was living in California at that time. I got offered a job to move from California to Texas. And she and I were seeing each other. One of my clients sold medical equipment in Wuhan, China. Know anything else that happened in Wuhan, China?
I do. Hold on. The COVID.
COVID.
There you go. I heard.
So he brought back, and I was one of the first COVID cases in California. Now, I was sick for 5 days, and then I was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I've walked through COVID places the rest of my life. I'm fine. I had the OG.
The original strain.
Yes. But I got offered a job here in Texas, and I asked her, I said, hey, I've got this job. This is where I want to go. Do you want to come with me? She goes, yes, I do want to come with you. I want to get out of California. I would love to go to Texas, but I'm only going to go there as Mrs. Hansen. I'm not going to go there as your girlfriend. I said, fair. So within, even though I'm in my 50s, she's in her 40s. Within a month, had dinner with her dad.
Nice.
Her dad and I had a relationship before, so he knew who I was. He knew about me. He knew everything that I'd gone through. And I asked him, I said, I want to marry Kim. And he goes, you got my blessing. So then I asked her to marry me. And I said, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Tahoe. And we're going to kind of plan out how we're going to do this summer. Because the job offering starts in July. So, I mean, we're in February. Let's plan out the next couple months. Let's sit down. Let's plan everything. And so we go up there. We start planning everything. And I don't know about you, but if you're up in Lake Tahoe with your fiance, in a cabin in the winter, are you going to be watching a lot of TV?
I would hope not.
Right. And so we didn't watch anything. We come back, and the place has gone crazy.
Mm-hmm.
As we're literally stopping, we stop at she goes, hey, I need to pick up some groceries. I didn't get any groceries. And I'm like, okay. So we stop at the grocery store. There's not toilet paper anywhere. And everyone's like acting all weird. There's no water bottles. There's no nothing. And people are like acting really weird. And we're like, what's going on?
It's like the apocalypse coming. Shit.
I said, what? I literally go, did aliens land? What's going on?
Come on, give us something. Second coming to Christ. What are we doing here?
And so ended up found out it was COVID, had the whole lockdown, had everything. So she was in the East Bay. I was in Sacramento. And we ended up not seeing each other for a week. And then I came down. I asked her to, we said, hey, let's start. We're going to have to probably move this thing up. And we ended up having a Zoom wedding.
I don't think I've ever actually heard of that.
So her and I, we were together in the backyard of her cousin. We had one of my really good friends who's a college professor. He got his license, and so he can marry us and be an official. And she had her kids, I had my kids. We had a couple family members and 400 people watching on Zoom. So, in retrospect, man, 400 people we didn't have to pay for dinner.
I know. Didn't have to worry about parking or any of that
Nope.
shit.
And we had come down to Texas. We had found a house already, and we had put in our bid, and we'd gotten it. And so all we were doing is we were taking all of our belongings the next day down to, we were going to drive down to Texas. So instead of them sending us the gifts, they sent it to our new house.
Oh,
in
nice.
Texas. So we didn't have to worry about packing, didn't have to worry about anything.
Makes it a lot easier.
So it had some good things to it. But I mean, it was a interesting Zoom wedding. It was a fun situation. I started doing strongman. I started working. I competed, did America's Strongest Veteran. Ended up doing the Army 10 miler. We both started doing some of those actives things. When we moved down here to Texas, we got involved with Team Red, White, and Blue. We got worked with some things with Team Semper Fi. Did some more stuff with Wounded Warrior Project. And so it was a great thing that once we got here, but now once that I'm here, I got established. I work about 50 hours a week. 90% of my clients are veterans. So I have a 97-year-old Korean War veteran.
Oh, wow.
Right now is one of the guys who I train twice a week. So he came to me about 6 months ago and he said, I want to dance with my great-granddaughter at her quinceañera.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's backwards plan this. So I started having him doing drills where he's moving side to side, where we're working on his stamina, where he has to walk forward, walk backwards, side to side. And so he doesn't lose his balance. Mm-hmm. So he has the leg strength. So he could do a couple of dances where he wanted to do the twist.
Oh, shit. No, you got to start small. Two-step that thing.
Well, we two-stepped. We trained him up on the two-step. That we also got him doing the twist. But that took balance and that took coordination, and you had to break that thing down for him so that he didn't fall flat on his ass.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, I'm sorry, if you're 97, you fall on the dance floor, people are going to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got him, we trained him up, and one of my favorite photos is something that his son sent me, is him and his great-granddaughter dancing. They sent me a video, and they sent me a picture of that.
Oh, that's sweet.
And that was one of my favorite videos and favorite pictures of one of my clients. I've got clients who, guys who got shot in the leg and how I worked with him and backwards planned him. Guys who, I've got a Vietnam veteran who's had both knees replaced and getting his leg strength, getting all that. And he goes, and I'm at that age where everyone's dying. I go, yeah, I get that. You're near 80. And I said, we want to make sure that you're the last of your group. And he goes, yeah, that's a good one. So we've been working on his stamina. We've been working on his heart rate. We've been working on, okay, let's walk at a pace. Let's walk at against pressure. Let's have you going up. Let's have you going downstairs. Let's have you standing up without pushing off on anything. Let's have you pull down with some weights. All the things that you're going to need to do to be functional. And I tell my clients, hey, listen, if you're looking for a bodybuilder, I can do that with you, but that's not my number one thing. I'm trying to get you to be as functional as possible physically so that you can be functional as possibly mentally, so you can be functionally as possibly emotionally and spiritually.
Feel like you can live a normal life.
Right, exactly. And like right now, the things that I am doing, I still do stuff with Wounded Warrior Project. I still do things with Folds of Honor. I still do things with Team Semper Fi, because these are all organizations that have helped me and my family. I really haven't talked a lot about my father, other than the fact I mentioned that he runs the largest orphanage in Mexico. He passed away lately, within the last month and a half. He had heart issues. And so my brother has taken over the orphanage, but the lessons that I learned through how hard and how long and what he did is important. And taking care of family, like my mom right now is, recovering and dealing with all that stuff, and talking through things with my brother, talking through things with my sisters, making sure that we're taking care of her. I think that's extremely important. Even though if she's not in the same town as you are, being able and being willing to make effort to be down there, to make effort to call her, to make effort to do all those sort of things that you need as part of family. And I think that a lot of times we forget everybody who's helped us along the way. And it's part of human nature. I have really tried to take a step back and go, okay, this guy's helped me here, this guy helped me there. We may not see eye to eye on everything, but I appreciate the fact that he helped me through this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that attitude of gratitude. And as far as doing things more, I'm turning 60 next year, and I am looking at trying to do one last run. So I took strongman. I took third in the nation twice in strongman.
Nice.
I would like to make one final run, but I've got to plan this one right. So I did it basically working 40 hours a week with a little baby boy, and getting my workouts in, getting all that sort of stuff, and kind of was like piecemealing things together.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, I only got a half hour here to work, so I'm going to go do bicep curls and just work on the biceps. Okay, and 2 days later, I'm going to have enough time to work on bench press. I'm going to work shoulder press. And then the next day, I'm going to have to be able to work on backs, and then I'm going to have to pick things up. And then, look, I'm being able to work out with a client at 4 a.m. Okay, I'm going to be able to work. And it was all piecemeal together. With my age, I've got to be able to set up, okay, this is going to be my schedule. I'm going to be working out at this time. I'm going to get things done. And so I've got 2 people who've talked about maybe helping sponsor that. And then we talked about trying to do a fundraiser that raises anywhere from $2 to $3 million for different veteran groups. I think that they're and doing a bike ride across America. And my idea with that, and the people who've talked to me about this, is that basically said, we need to keep doing things that bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to keep doing things that not necessarily showcase you, but showcase veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And my idea of having a veteran at every single 12 miles. Hey, I'm handing off this flag to you. You're going to now carry it for a while. And, just like they talk about and carry the load. And then you're going to do 12 miles. And, hey, you're going to hand this off to another veteran. And they're going to hand it off to another veteran. And we're going to carry it, because I honestly think that us as veterans, we've done so much. And I think this last couple of years, a bunch of us have just relaxed. Hey, I'm dealing with my family. I'm not dealing with my community. I'm not dealing with the veteran community. And I think this is the reason why you're doing this podcast, which is a great, obvious, wonderful thing. I think it's time for us as veterans to expand into that community. And you know what? Us as veterans, I don't care what the pink hair and the blue haired people talk about. People who are anti-American, you know what? They can kick rocks.
There's a plane ticket they can leave.
Right. But the people who actually love this country, let's bring this country back together again. And let's go, let's take a trip from MCRD to all the way to Annapolis and go across this country. Go into Oklahoma, go into Dallas, go into Atlanta, go into North Carolina, go up and down the mountains, and just show this country, hey, we still have veterans who are proud of this flag. We have veterans who love this country, and we're willing to do the extra fun work that it takes to, we're going to show it. Mm-hmm. We're going to display it. And that's it's a small ask. Hey, can you hop on a bike, ride 12 miles, waving a flag, hand it off to a different veteran?
But it has a huge impact.
But look at the impact that because especially with social media now,
mm-hmm.
How many this last year for the 4th of July, year 250 year, they had a flag that ran across the country. A bunch of college age kids They were at a Charlie Kirk function, and they said, you know what, let's run across the country. So they started from L.A., and they ran a flag all the way across the country. And by the time that they got to Washington, 40 guys were running with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran, they handed off the flag. They ran, they handed off the flag. They ran, they handed off the flag. And people started following them. They followed them on social media. They ran through Indiana, through the cornfields of Indiana. And people are honking their horns. People are cheering them on. They weren't raising any money. They were just simply wanting to display love of country. You know, I ask a lot of people in my speeches. I give speeches for Wounded Warrior, for Folds of Honor, and from other people. I ask a lot of people, I ask the question, when did you take ownership that you were an American? I can tell you mine. 1980. My father and I, we were sitting in our basement, and we were watching on a 12-inch black and white screen TV.
Oh, those are awesome.
The U.S. Olympic hockey team, a bunch of college guys.
The dream team.
Beat up the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
No one expected it. And we were screaming and hollering, we're beating the Russians, we're beating the Russians. My mom comes running down. What's going on? We're beating the Russians, Mom. We're beating the Russians. I remember that. I remember watching later on Sugar Ray Leonard in the Olympics. Pop a jab, snapping those jabs. And he had to fight the unbeatable Cuban fighter that no one said they said he's been pro as an amateur for such a long time because Cuba wants to win the gold medals. And he has won the last 2 gold medals, and here's Sugar Ray beating him. Hitting jab. You know, George Foreman winning the gold medal as a heavyweight. Watching the dream team in Barcelona, that was phenomenal. Those are days I can remember. You know, when I was watching that hockey match, the idea of we're beating the Russians, because I was taking ownership that I was an American. And I think a lot of people, if we take that second and go, when was that time that you realized that you were an American? You know, for some guys, if you join the Marines, is the day I stepped on those yellow footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Guys in the Army, you know, I don't know. I didn't go through Army boot camp. I went through Marine Corps boot camp. But guys talked about the first time that the drill instructors yelled at you, hey, get out there, you bunch of maggots.
Oh, yeah.
You know, okay, I'm doing a job. I'm defending this country. I'm doing this. You know, I don't understand why they don't do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in school, but I remember doing the Pledge of Allegiance growing up. But when I was 12 and I said that the pledge became a lot more something to me then. And I think it becomes more important as you grow older.
It does. You start to realize it, especially depending on your career path as you get older. You know, if you go military, you'll have definitely more of appreciation of a lot of things, especially like the Pledge of Allegiance, the American flag, and all that.
Well, and just the freedom that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been to a lot of places in the world. A lot of the, armpits. And you look at the way that they treat women.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the way that they treat their citizens. You know, you look at the way that their religion treats people. And we've been to all those different places, and we've seen what they do. We saw what when I was in the Marine Corps at first, we were learning, communist Russian orthodoxy, so that we understood when we had to deal with Russians, how we were going to have to deal with them,
mm-hmm.
how we had to. I remember doing something with East Germans. I remember when the Polish were communists. I remember all those sort of different things, and now you look at them. And I think it's just an important thing that we, as Americans, remember how good we have it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've been all over the globe. Is there any questions that you have of me?
What I was going to say is let's take a small break, get our studio cooled back down. I'm sweating, and we've been here for 2 hours.
All right.
And
very cool.
On that note, we'll come back because I got a couple of questions maybe.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. 20 minutes. What you got?
So the question that you asked me out there is what other groups that I would call out. We already talked a little bit about Wounded Warrior Project. And the reason why I'm extremely loyal to them and I love telling them the things that they have done for me is because they were the first people to help me out when I needed it. I've been able to help them in return, be a good spokesperson for them and be able to tell people when some people don't like the way that they ran things or have run things. But a lot of times those same people don't like them because they're not helping them. Or they want to come up, they're like, hey, you guys raised a lot of money. Why don't you give me some money? Instead of helping them the way that they help people. So I'm been a pretty good advocate and defender of them. The other groups that I 100% recommend is the America's Fund and Semper Fi and the America's Fund. They have a pretty strict group and a way that you get into with them, but they have helped people out. I know of several veterans that they helped out with car repairs, that they helped with houses, not getting them houses, but helping with not necessarily helping their finances, but helping to get their financial house in order so that they can get houses. They have helped with doing events. They have done things like when we did the Army 10 miler, we did the Army 10 miler with Team Semper Fi. And so that has been a very great organization. And then Folds of Honor. I don't know if you've got an opportunity to work with Folds of Honor in any way, but they help, if you're a 100% disabled veteran, they help with get your kids in school. They help with the funding of that. And they have been phenomenal in getting my kids into school. And I've got 2 daughters who are in college, and they've been able to get some finances to them. And so it is, if I feel like you're an organization that's helping veterans and actually doing something for them, I would love to be able to help them out. And because to me, we're all helping. It's more that we help each other, and the more that we coexist, and the more that we have collaboration, I think that the more that the community becomes tighter. And like we've been talking about this whole day is the more that we help people in our community, the better off we're going to be. And if I'm holding you to a similar standard, or if I'm helping you out, you feel like, okay, I'm going to try and help someone else out. And it's like that game of telephone where you helping one person out, then they help out another person, then they help out another person.
Passing on the kindness.
Right. And, pay it forward. And the more that people pay things forward, the more that people do things along that line, it's not only going to help you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, but we're going to help someone else because maybe they need that encouragement of, someone's watching. Someone sees how hard I'm working. Someone else understands how big the struggle is. I'll close with this. And there's a story that I share with other veterans, and I've shared in some of the speeches I give. A young private, he's walking back to base. And on his way, he falls into a hole. Lands at the bottom, hurts his leg. And he starts screaming up there, help, help, I'm stuck. The chaplain walks by, takes a look in the hole. And he goes, son, the reason why you're in this hole is I haven't seen you in church. You're not doing the right thing. Maybe if you got right with God, maybe if you were better with people, better with this, better with that, you wouldn't be in this situation. You need to do the right thing. And turns around and walks away. The private looks and goes, what? And he starts screaming up again. Help, help. I'm stuck in this hole. His captain walks by, looks down in the hole. Oh my God, you again? You are such an embarrassment.
Article 15.
Who's your next line leader? Why haven't they helped you with your training? Where's your upper body strength? Where's your leg strength? Where's your first aid? I'm going to have to find out who he is, and I'm going to have to help train him so he could train you better. You need to quit being an embarrassment to the unit, to the company. And walks away. His sergeant walks by, takes a look at the assessment, and assesses the situation. And he jumps in the hole with him. And the young private's going, what's going on? Why are you in here with me? And the sergeant calmly wraps his leg, takes care of it. And he goes, hey, PFC, I've been where you've been. I know the struggles. I want you to follow me because I know where the handholds are. I know where the footholds are, and I'll help you get out of this hole.
Navigate it.
Too often, too many vets, and I'll put myself originally in this boat, and I've tried really hard to be the third person, are the first two people. They take a look and they say, oh, it's because of your spiritual life. Oh, it's because of your training. Oh, it's because you're not mentally strong. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. Instead of just getting in the hole and going, you know what, and being humble. I've screwed up too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out of this hole together. And I strive to be that person who jumps in the hole with people. And you seem like the same type of guy. You try and jump in the hole with people and help other guys out. And if we can get that community of ours doing that, we can help so many of these guys out. And we wouldn't have 22 people killing themselves every day.
I've been deep in that damn hole, and that hole sucks.
Yes, it does.
I don't want to see anybody else in that hole. Now, if they're in there, let's get them out.
Yeah, let's figure out a way.
Because you can sit here and judge someone else's life all day long. You're not good at your life because your marriage sucks, because you don't know how to talk to your family, or you can't hold a job because you're mentally unfit. Well, no shit. But how do I get back to normal? And a lot of us forget that. And we kind of stick to our own things, become so internalized and compartmentalized in our own life that we don't really think about others and how to help them out as well.
I like reminding myself, I got hurt in 2009. We're in 2020, about almost 2026, which it's been 15, 16, 17 years. It's taken me at least 10 years to get to the point where I feel like I can help people.
Oh, yeah.
And feel I was helping people in those first 10 years, but I wasn't 100% trusting myself. Last 5 years, I feel like I've got myself out of that hole enough that I can be strong enough to help other people with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while to do that.
Because if you can't have confidence in yourself with it, there's no way you can lead someone else. You have to have confidence in yourself as a leader in order to help lead others.
Right. And while you're helping people and you take that step, it's a process. And remember, not everybody's where you're at today.
Mm-hmm. Some are where you were at years ago. Some are further than you.
Mm-hmm.
Either you learn or you help.
Some people, I tell people all the time, some people might be, if 2015 Big Sarge, maybe not understand what 2026 Big Sarge understands.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, man.
All right.
Well, I'll end this the same way I always end it. If you ever want to come back on, if you ever want to follow up, we are always welcome to have you. If you know anyone that wants to be on the show or could be on the show, let them know.
I will let you know. I think I'm thinking about 2 people already.
That's awesome. This has been a great conversation. 2.5 hours and just pure talk.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Like you said, it's unfiltered. This is me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys don't like me, nothing I can do about it, but at least you know I'm being honest.
Yeah, and that's all we can do.
Yes, sir.
All right, boss, let's get you out of here to the airport.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'm still standing, though the ground gave way beneath my feet. Still breathing, though the road has brought me to my knees. They can take my strength, they can break my bones, they'll